week 154 has arrived. It's a shorter one because we have the Grand Valley 15 laps later in the week. But we do still have one kind of normal race to cover. It's a roulette race, so as normal as that can be. But yeah, we have a roulette race on Wednesday because the Grand Valley, idiots, Trial Mountain 15 laps is on Friday. But that race was kind of, well, it's not very long. 15 laps goes by a little quicker than you'd think. It's only about 32 minutes we're expecting. So we're doing one other race. And, certain benefactors kind of influenced the location at the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve in Montreal, or just CGV, I think I'm going to probably prefer to call it, because I know I'm saying it right, but it sounds wrong when I say that name. We are green from Montreal. Jesus. I don't know why I'm surprised how quickly his accelerates. I drive the same car. In the same race, no less. But, yeah, things are gonna be interesting. I did not do the in-game audio right. This is still very loud. Anyway. Yeah, as you can see, Pacific Spirit Racing is out in force today. Brian Ice already has the lead. Dom DePrisco is on track. Not in the same class as his team owner, though, which is interesting. Juan Santo is back here. Mika Harris back here with damage from the first turn. Even Amy Shaughnessy is on the track this week, and she's not raced in a while. The POV driver, I guess this is a new vehicle? I don't know what you'd file this under. A familiar sight, to say the least. Wayne Hansen's matte yellow Lamborghini Murcielago is back after getting totaled by this guy, some time ago. Nice shift, Wayne. As you can see by his license plate there is a new team in the running this week. Megalith Motors returns. A team formerly run by one Natasha Harris, who has since been basically banned from Challenge Series competition, just outright. But I guess Wayne Hansen revived the nameplate, which he is okay to do that. And just as long as he doesn't try to bring Natasha back into the series as a driver is kind of, that's where the line is drawn. I was a little confused. He passed Dom DePrisco cleanly. Dom had damage on lap 1, but for an unrelated thing. Also in this race, we have, so Megalith consists now of Ashley Akemi, Alexis Aliris. I'm having to try and go through the list. My throat is kind of difficult, so we're supposed to hear that a lot. Liv Newstein and debuting Elaine Leung is the 5th driver for the team in a Mitsubishi GTO, getting overtaken by I think new class leader Chloe Washington in the police-themed C5 Corvette. Maybe I should have waited to do the recording if my throat is going to be this congested the entire time. As Hansen overtakes his teammate, Ashley. And now he has one more other Murcielago in his way, and I'm very curious to see how this goes, because everybody who is anybody in the Challenge Series knows Wayne Hansen absolutely has it out for Ice and for Nabisco. God, stupid throw. I might be retaking this one. This is pathetic. Doesn't seem to be much else to report. Isabel is still running 7th in a 640 class car. And not really being caught. Okay, now she's being caught by that Corvette, but still. She's kind of hauling the mail in that thing. She's keeping up with cars that she shouldn't be keeping up with despite getting kind of bumped into by Chloe there. We have 3 Murcielagos in the top 5. They're running 1, 2, and 4. We skip ahead a lap to me attempting to get by Ashley Akemi, but I kind of did it poorly. I didn't turn. Yeah, we did make contact, but also, like, she couldn't go any further to the left, so I forgot the Murcielago doesn't turn all that well. Oh, here we go, battle for the lead. Let's see how long it takes for this to go sideways. Alrighty. Brian Ice just brake tested Wayne Hansen, I think, at the exit of that chicane. And then you let him go. That's some kind of apology or something. Well, he got into him again, so I'm not sure what it is. We're gonna defend the inside. Hansen has to go the long way around, and he's getting turned! Blaring the horn, and now he's not happy. He's going to rejoin the track straight into Brian Ice's door, which will send the Canadian driver into the outside wall. I was going to say the hometown guy. No, he just straight up partially owns the track. He's going to send it back down the inside of that Murcielago. So although it is currently a Murcielago 1, 2, 3, all 3 of us have damage on our cars. So the lead will soon be inherited by Ashley Akemi, who's fending off Juan Santo. The personification of power versus handling right there. Yeah, all 3 of those cars have suspension damage somewhere, so none of us had a choice but to pit. Now we'll see if the 80 car can keep the 43 car at bay. Santa's probably getting some kind of deja vu because he's probably chased a C5R before. Not probably, he almost certainly has. Except he was in a different class, and he used to have to do it back in the early 2000s. But these 2 are in the same class. Just with slightly different regulations to make it a little more fair. Hansen is the first Murcielago to rejoin, so he'll be 3rd. And Brian Ice got the worst damage of everybody, so he actually lost place to me and all of that. Admittedly, he did kind of start it by brake testing Hansen and then basically trying to dump him at this very chicane. So, just like last week with me being in Buck's corner when attacking Yuzuha, I'm kind of like, yeah, Wayne Hansen didn't... I mean, he didn't do nothing wrong, he retaliated, but he'd been run into 3 times before that. Not run into, but, you know. Brian Ice fucked with him 3 times before that, so it's like... It's kind of hard not to, at least mostly blame Brian for that. The gap between Santo and Akemi is slowly minimizing. The CLK able to make up plenty of ground in every turn, but the Corvette being able to get on the power and drive back ahead of him. That's exactly what you want when you're the leader. You need to have... Power is for defense, handling is for basically front running, more or less. If the roles were reversed, Juan Santo would be driving away with this race. Let's see who... Interesting. Did not have that on my bingo card for this race. So Liv Newstein's going to cross the line at the end of time. She will win the 715 class. So at least Megalith's going to get at least one class victory out of this. Freaking... Isabel Aspinall is going to end up winning the 640 class. There weren't very many of them in this race. I totally forgot. Yeah. Shizen Tokayama has a new 675 car. We'll see her Sylvia move to 640 later, but for now she has an R32 Skyline in 675. Also for reference, Isabel's only opponents in the 640 class were Alexis Aliris and Damien Kotexa, making his first start under NFR Ford. Isabel's all the way up here in 12th, having beaten 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cars in a category above her. And wasn't really that far behind Amy, who is 3 classes above her. So, such is the benefits of keeping your nose clean, I reckon. The 675 class, meanwhile, goes to Chloe Washington, and it is not a contest. The next 675 class car is Elaine Leung, who's just now crossing the line for second in the category. Chloe finished like 30 seconds ago. And we're going to go down the back straightaway for the final time with the race leaders. Wayne Hansen, not exactly close, but... Oh, there's a slow car in the way. Ashley will get by fine, but Alexis is going to block Juan Santo. And that's going to give her team owner a chance to take the spot away. That Murcielago is going to have plenty of power to steal P2 from Juan Santo in the class and overall. That's not a pass that would have ever happened if Alexis wasn't getting lapped in that exact moment. Can we look ahead? There we go. So, already, I guess Alexis playing the team game anyway. I don't know if I can say maybe Megalith was planning that, but that might have just been a very much happenstance. But it also wouldn't surprise me, considering that it is Pacific Spirit, that was taken away from, that was maybe not premeditated, but certainly a conscious choice on Alexis's part. But either way, yeah, your category winners are Ashley Akemi, Liv Newstein, Chloe Washington, and Isabel Aspinall. There were no 600 class cars in this race, so we will move on to the Trial Mountain 15 laps. Trial Mountain stands before us. 15 laps await the 640 class to emulate the original Trial Mountain. 30 laps of old, mostly run with street-legal hatchbacks. Of course, not every car on the track here is going to be a hatchback, but, it's the principle of the thing. And there are a few hatchbacks on the grid. A few. Not a ton. It's kind of rare to see, nowadays, it feels like anyway, to have a race where there's no, commentary notes that are, in bold print and with the line underneath them. So, maybe we get a normal race. Even the last one had that, where, there was just a inexplicable bold print third chicane, which I guess represents the kerfuckery of Brian Ice and Wayne Hansen that took place mostly at the third chicane, but as we saw, it technically started at the first. And we are green for the Trial Mountain 15 laps. It's a front row of front-row drive cars, but they're actually going to maintain 1-2 on the way down to T1, inexplicably. They were 4 wide for a second there, and yeah, that's just typical Trial Mountain stuff. Ruby just got the worst of it, though. She was right at the epicenter of everything, and she has damage on both ends of the car, which is something that only she has received. Actually, that wasn't really that bad as far as turn 1 goes. Hu Tao got some front damage, and rear damage to the back of Rebecca Briggs' Camaro. Do you have any contact there? I saw a bunch of smoke, but it doesn't look like any of it was meaningful. No. Hu Tao trying to barge her way past one of the new cars in the race, despite having to damage front bumper. But yeah, we have, I think, 3.5 new cars. Not a new car, but Shizen Tokayama's S14 got moved down to the 640 class, as her R32 got put in its place in 675. This is chaos! Oh my lord, what is going on here? That was almost 3 wide, almost 4 wide. It was 3 wide, multiple times. And Satsuki Waki, as we've just seen plenty of, has a 1995 Integra for this class. And she's going to use the light weight of that car to try and get around the outside of Jeremiah Wood, but it's not very stable under braking, because it doesn't have any rear downforce besides that tiny little wing there. We've already seen Tokayama's S14, but we have not seen Shiro Suzuka's Mark IV Supra that's making its first appearance. And lastly is Wanda Glass way in the back, taking it very easy on lap 1, it seems, in a very simplistic design SCRX7. Of course, taking it easy is by no means a bad strategy in an endurance race. We're going to be here for 15 laps. We're going to be over half an hour. Might as well make sure you can be there on lap 15 instead of being out of the running on lap 2. Not that that was necessarily under the control of any of these 3 that got damage on lap 1. Turn 1, 2, and 3 here can just be a little chaotic. Did Chica just block Joshua Riggs? And then also, okay, never mind. She did, but then she also blocked her own teammate in the process, so I don't... net 0. Actually, she just let Joshua pass her, it seemed like, so that wasn't very productive. We did just see Vincent Houston get into the back of me in the corner of the screen there. I don't know how, in the name of God, his steel body Mustang, or Shelby GT250 rather, got into the back of my 90s Plasticmobile twice, and his car is damaged, but not mine. I really couldn't riddle you that one. Oh, the POV driver, right, that's kind of important. He's already in the lead, but yeah, Yo Watanabe is the POV driver. Started last and is already in the lead, 3.5 into the race. I think she's been in the lead since the start of lap 1. No, end of lap 1. Start of lap 2, really, that's what I meant to say. We saw a battle for the lead between Ricky Briggs and Silica. The Chevelle sideways, but manages to pass the Mini, who just kind of backs out of it. Silica doesn't want unnecessary damage, but Yo's gonna slink right through the pair of them, and that's how she got the lead. Me and Kono had a very strange battle at the start of lap, well, really the end of lap 2, yeah. She gets clear of me more or less here. And at first I was just like, okay, yeah, just whatever. She go quick, fine. Mishima just got into the back of Satsuki Waki, so... And the Concertina also affected Riggs. Also, not caught on the screen was chaos between Hanamura and Tokayama. Yeah, Tokayama just missed the breaking point. There was a lot of that in this race. Just people getting a little too excited at that tight turn and smacking somebody in the ass. Yo is kind of just controlling the pace at the moment. She's not really getting away, but I think she's trying to be conscious of her fuel and tires, especially since an all-wheel drive car will be very harsh on the outside front tire. Fuel might not be that big of an issue. That is a 6-cylinder motor in that Evo, I believe. I think it's an inline 6, or it could be an inline 4. I don't remember. Certainly not a big block V8 like is behind her, and you can tell the difference in fuel economy between the two. And actually, it's still more competitive than I thought it would be, all things considered. Wood needs an absolute train of cars. At the back of which is Dexter Rollins and Wanda Glass, who are very clearly saving their resources at the moment. Which is weird that they're doing that, them of all people, like, you know, just absolute chaos in the midfield here. Probably come back to Glass in a minute. There's too much happening in the mid-pack. Yeah, there's that trio of cars pitting because of turn 3. Chica's also being relatively easy on the gas tank. She's still at about, we'll call that about 60%, somewhere around there. Not quite 60, not quite 2/3 fuel, but more than me. But I had just enough straight line speed to stay away. My car is heavier, so I guess it has to burn more fuel. Kanan we've watched her pick her way through the field methodically. Now she's up to 6th because she took the correct line through the S's. She was able to do that, but she wasn't fighting me or Chica. But she will probably feel that later because she is pushing her fuel tank to make these placements. And it is working now, but you do have to wonder if maybe that might come back to haunt her at the very end. She's already at half tank, and we're only through about 3 1/3 laps here. But then again, she's not alone. Briggs is even worse off. Yo might be fine there, but she's also the leader. She can fuel save at will so long as she makes sure that Chevelle stays in her mirrors. She has that luxury as the leader. Other cars, like Kanan or Chica, are doing so kind of at the expense of, well, they're going to have to be around other cars, and racecraft comes into play to make sure you don't make any big crashes, and so on and so forth. Speaking of big crashes, yeah, I'm not really sure what was in the air, other than fog. There's a lot of fog on the track right now, but yeah, I don't really know. Wanda barely avoided getting involved in that, from Shiro deciding that he doesn't know where he needs to brake. You definitely don't want to get collected in the crash when you're trying to save your fuel and tires later for an alternative strategy like Dexter and Wanda are doing. Yeah, as I was referring to with like Glass and Rollins having the wherewithal to be saving their resources for the last part of the race. You know, Wanda, as she nearly sends me, despite trying to be saving, I'm not really sure why. I mean, she didn't send it. Maybe it was just a difference in braking point. Obviously, I couldn't brake as late as I wanted to because I got rear end damage. I just kind of let her go there because what the fuck am I gonna do? I got damaged rear end. I wasn't gonna let Suzuka though. He's not getting a free pass, but he's the reason I'm about to be out of the running here. And, remember, Mercury's still kind of at the peak of not having a lot of money. The rest of them should be out here too, but you can only put so many cars on the grid. But yeah, Wanda Glass isn't really like the rest of the golden generation, I think it was, no, never mind. Kanan is just kind of running away now. She's sort of free of all the shackles. She's not going to have much trouble to deal with that I remember hearing about. Yeah, Chica getting to the back of Wood there. She was supposed to be trying to save it, then she gave up on it though when she realized how well these two were doing at it. And she's like, okay, I can't outsave them, I'm going to have to outdrive them and hope. But she then instead outdrove herself into the back of Jeremiah Wood's car. But when you think about these two, at least like working together to make sure they don't have to push each other. They're just kind of running in tandem like it's a NASCAR or Super Speedway race. This is an unlikely duo, to say the least. Two that both seem to silently agree like, hey, let's not push the cars, let's both try and save our stuff to the end of the race. But Rollins is not known to be very, very smart. Certainly not race smart, anyway. He kind of just drives, he tries to drift half the time because he thinks he's the guy from Initial D, and he just simply isn't that guy. But he knows to fuel save, I guess. And tire save. They're both about dead even in that regard. But also, yeah, Wanda Glass has proven to be a fast driver. There's not much doubt about that. She was the first of the so-called golden generation to win a race. The problem is, she doesn't have the professional background to have the kind of racecraft I'd expect to know to do this, you know? Hiro Suzuka and Satsuki Waki and Shizun Tokayama were all former racers. They were former professionals. Wanda Glass was a professional wrestler. And I know she had a passion for cars, but knowing that you could do something and actually being able to put it into execution are not the same thing. Kanan just got ahead of Arahabaki at turn 1. The latter of whom is certainly having a much better showing here than her actual debut, where she existed, to borrow what probably would be Logan's terminology, where he here. Not really like... Yeah, not a very impressive debut from Ryoko, but she showed on the front row. She's down 3, but mind you, one of those 3 passed literally everybody in the span of less than 3 minutes. And Briggs just has a Chevelle that's doing 170 plus on the back straightaway. There's not really much you can find a ton of fault there, and Kanan, yeah, she's pushing it though. But yeah, you could say that is just on merit. It's like, yeah, that's a position you probably could have held on to. But then again, she's also showing more speed by getting ahead of Silica at the backstretch, like hairpin kind of turn, so... She knows that she seems to have accepted, yeah, I'm not saving. She is going full speed and just kind of hoping she can make it to lap 8. That's not going to happen. None of the top 4, excuse me, no, yeah, that is 5. None of the top 5 except maybe Yo is in any state to do that. And Yo, you can see as one of the few 4-wheel drive cars in the race, is really stressing her front tires. While Briggs, with the rear-wheel drive muscle car, is really stressing his rears instead. Kanan is also 4-wheel drive, and she's being a little better on the tires than Yo, but it's not by much. But also Yo is much better on fuel. I think Yo might realize her tires only have to go 8, it doesn't really matter how low they get as long as they get there, so she might be leaning on them. She may be leaning on her tires to maintain a decent pace while saving fuel. Yeah, this is a second gear turn, but she's taking it in third, and just aggressively taking the corner exit. And it's probably fine. There's still another 2 or 3 laps in those tires. She doesn't need to go to 10. She needs to go to 8. And she, I would assume, knows that. She's certainly driving like she knows that. You don't lead a race like this while being clueless, you know? She's got like a 6-second lead over Briggs. And Briggs is now having to nurse about 2/3 of a Chevrolet Chevelle as the right rear tire is absolutely shredded and his fuel tank's low. Meanwhile, Wanda Glass is still at like, I would say 45% fuel and her tires are barely even warm. The way that they're driving, if they had to, they could go to the end on that set of tires, and they just might do that to save some time in the pits in the short term. Although I don't know if I'd recommend that. Yeah, Briggs has to pit, Kanan has to pit, she is out of fuel as well. And I think Silica is in the same boat. Habaki is fine, though. She's got another lap in the tank. And she still has a little less fuel than Yo does, who will easily be making 8, probably could make 9 if she had to. Skip ahead to the end of lap 8, and we should see Yo go in here. She could maybe go to the end of 9 if she wanted to, but I don't think she's got any reason to do that as the race leader. And yeah, no, in she goes. When you're the race leader and you have a comfortable margin, there is really no reason not to split the race down the middle. There just isn't. So with Watanabe pitting, Wanda Glass will claim the race lead for herself. Solid debut for the... It's like she chose this for this. Like she may very well have seen that this event was coming up and just simply selected this vehicle for its economy. Are rotary engines like efficient like that? I've never driven my RX-7 in an endurance race or any race that would really require me to think about my fuel consumption. I'll have to try that sometime. I'm sure there'll be an endurance race with 675 later. I'd be kind of confused if there wasn't, actually. But, yeah, I guess I'll have to see how fuel efficient this car is. I'm not surprised the GR86 is efficient. That's a boxer engine. They could pit on this lap, but it looks like they could even go to 10 if they so desire. That would allow them to put less fuel in on their pit stop and save time that way, while not losing a whole lot of it on the track. The lap times are consistent, which is a bigger deal than Yo running a bunch of 59s, because she was pushing within her means, but she was still pushing. These two were clearly never pushing, and they're only about a second off of what Yo was managing on a perfect lap. Which puts them in a better spot than damn near everybody else except for Yo. Rebecca is running well now, but that's only because she's going to have to pit again, but so are most of the cars around here, so really, we kind of got two separate races here. We just kind of have, like, Glass, Rollins, Yo, and Ricky versus each other. We got Silica and Arahabaki just somewhere in the middle, as probably being able to go one stop if they keep their bumpers clean. But with how much Kanon's been pushing this race, remains to be seen. Or Chica, who's, you know, a renowned klutz. Just to her sake, she doesn't run into the back of her own teammate. That would be a very awkward post-race meeting. Rebecca does have to go in a second time. She is out of fuel. And so her team owner will carry on in fourth place, but his fuel tank's not looking much better. So I think in the near future we'll see Ricky take over. Skip ahead to the end of 10, and I think Wanda and Dexter's times in the sun have ended. Yo has passed both of them. We'll actually probably get a replay of that in a sec here. Yeah, she got Rollins on the front straightaway. Just probably able to get a better exit because her tires are now considerably better shape because, you know, she pit. She got Glass on the exit of 3. Again, more tires, more grip. That's simple. But, yeah. Now will be the time for Glass and Rollins to pit. They're going to have to face the music and also realize that, the car that just passed us is also fine to the end, so we're kind of just cooked here. There's no way we're getting back up to her because we're going to lose about 40, 50 seconds right here. And I think looking at that right front tire, Vincent Houston would be wise to pit, even if not for fuel, which he also has to pit for that anyway. And so now Blue Strata will hope that Ricky can get to the finish line on this tank and on these tires. He's going to have to be a little more conscious of that right rear than he was on the first stint if he wants to make it that far. He doesn't have much pressure from behind. Those cars, they are there, but they're not anywhere remotely on the same strategy he is, and I think we'll be seeing both of them pitting in a lap or two. We'll definitely be seeing Riggs pit at the end of this lap. Hanamura might be doing too. I also find it funny, you know, knowing what I do now, how silly it looks that AMT sponsors Hanamura's 180SX, because you know, they sponsored him the second he joined the series. But AMT have shown since, you know, for a long time now that they are committed to German cars, which this isn't. This is a Japanese drift car converted back into a racing spec. That's the same with Mishima 300Z. But even with Team AMT now establishing themselves in the Challenge Series, they didn't rescind their sponsorship of a completely unrelated driver, which I just find interesting. I know that there's like a whole shtick with loyalty over there with AMT. If it's not, you know, them being loyal to Bagstrom and vice versa, I guess they're even loyal to drivers that don't really line up with their usual customer base. It's very interesting. But, and we should be seeing Riggs come in here. It's really just a game of can Ricky Briggs bring it home? Does he have the tire and fuel to make it 4 more times around the circuit? And if he can't, who ends up passing him? Who can, besides these two, who are now in the absolute mess of everything? They did not take tires, and they took as little fuel as was necessary to make it to the end. But presumably they're going to be still fuel saving if they can get away with it, but the field around them is making that not possible, I would say. Silica's tires have had enough. Well, Ryoko very clearly took tires on her pit stop, so she could be a quick car right now. She's just past Rollins. We'll see who can strike first. It looks like Chica can strike at Wanda Glass first over the finish line. Or try. Wanda might have to put that horsepower to use, or she's not. She's gonna run into the back of Chica, who moves over in front of her. The sun sets on Trial Mountain, not quite racing in the dark, but we're not going to be too far away from it by the end of the race. Nara Habaki actually took advantage of that situation and got herself to 6th place. Are these two still saving? Are they still committed to saving fuel and getting to the end that way? I can maybe see how it would work, but I don't really think it would help them because Ara Habaki is right there with more fuel and way better tires. It might be fine with Chica, who's 1, really pushing the fuck out of that Subaru, but 2, is not looking healthy in the fuel department. Even Kanon is kind of 50-50. She could make it to the end if she fuel saves, it looks like, but I don't know if that's really on her itinerary at the moment. Hanamura is out of fuel. He will bow out of this battle for the podium. Currently it is going to be 1-3-4 for Team Aqua here. But that is very tentative, as Chica absolutely does not have enough fuel to make it to the finish. She'd be relying on a yellow flag or a red flag here to end the race prematurely, but I don't know that we're going to get that far. We don't have any big exclamation marks in the field of like, oh god, that person's going to cause some shit, you know? Silica's here, but Riho's not, you know? The whole AMT Demon Sports beef, there's no Demon Sports cars in this race either, so that's not going to happen. Silica's really playing with fire with that right front, though. That does not have much left in it. Oh, she got caught on the wrong line up the S's, and Rollins, excuse me, not Satoshi, Dexter, and Silica both drove past her. Ryoko seems to have fended off Silica for the moment, but I don't know how long it's going to last for. Around the outside for the Civic. The Civic has the advantage of tires, I would think, anyway, but Silica is just on the better line. No, Ryoko got it. Ryoko got the spot back there. When she took an awful final turn. That's how he got here. I don't know. She just collapsed on lap 12. I didn't even notice. 2 laps to go. Yo just put me a lap down because my car is slow as shit. And I don't even fucking know. I know I got ran into by Suzuka, but so many other cars in the back half of the field also did, and I just didn't have anything. I was just mentally checked out of this race by that point. I don't even have an excuse. It's not looking great for Ricky. It's even looking worse for Chica, who elects to pit now, giving her podium spot up to Kanon. Wanda has not been kind. Well, actually, no. She's been very kind. She's made them last 13 laps. But that's still going to be 2 more to go on those tires for both of them, and that's not a good look. Even the worst look for Silico's front-wheel drive car is going to be even more harsh on them. This is literally in hand for Yo Watanabe, and it's literally just a game of survival for everybody else. I don't know what the fuck. Like, obviously, she's not the threat she used to be when the Dirt Division was running, but Yo's never not been a threat, you know? But this is a whole new level. Like, she is gone. She is attacking the little mini F section up the hill. She's got 3 corners to go before the end of the lap. Ricky, in second place, is at the end of the back straight. Kanan, in third place, is halfway down that straight. And then we have this mini train of cars, 4th through 7th. And Ryoko is the only one with even a little bit of hope of making the end of the race without pitting. And even then, her fuel is sketchy. Silica is not. And they're having to fight for 6th anyway. Ryoko is just like, man, can you go away? I'd rather fight these 2 up here, because I know they're gonna try and get to the end. Ricky surrenders. Yeah, his right rear is gone, his fuel tank is empty, he didn't have a choice. Kanan is also out of fuel, though. The fuel is just looking more and more ridiculous as time goes on. The lights are not on for Glass or Rollins, but Ryoko doesn't think she can get to the end. Silica obviously can. How? I mean, I guess, but you think you'd at least try. You got 11% left. Her first stint was 8. I don't understand. Weird. She must have just underfueled the car like a doofus. It did seem about on brand for her. The fuel light just came on for Glass, but not for... Oh, now it's on for Rollins. Those tires are dead, though, but that is still 2nd and 3rd at turn 2. Your leader is on the back straightaway, having also lapped Hutao not too long ago. And if this were a 16-lap race, I reckon Yo would be lapping Ruby as well. I dare say we are looking at the most dominant victory in the series. In terms of margin of victory, anyway, and the fact that she's managed to make the whole race on 1 stop, which is something that only 2 other cars did, and look at that, they're going to finish 2 and 3 behind her if they can make it to the line. Only a pair of hairpins to go before Yo secures the most convincing win in the Challenge Series as far back as I can remember. I don't even know what the margin of victory on this would be. It's that huge. He's weaving the car back and forth. Can't say she hasn't really earned that right. The victory goes to Yo Watanabe 30 minutes and 46 seconds later, and boy oh boy, I don't even know where to begin to measure this margin of victory. That's at least 45 seconds. We go to the end of the replay reel, and yeah, nobody else behind her got a chance to cross the line before the replay ended. She won by so much that she made everybody else disappear. And you can just see what very little is left of the tires on Wanda and Dexter's cars, but that's after 15 laps of driving on them. Yo certainly couldn't have managed that. If this was only a tire wear race, I don't know how this would have turned out the same. They had the Midas touch on their tires. They just didn't have the speed to make it work, because Yo was doing all of that in a bag of chips. Much more efficient on the fuel than they were. No, actually, no. She was less efficient on the fuel. She just had so much speed, she found that perfect balance between pushing the car and still maintaining enough resources to split the race down the middle at 8-7. That's what it amounts to. And she overfueled. She had enough fuel for another lap. She didn't need it. But that is week 154, only 2 races here. But obviously the second one is rather momentous, the 15 laps of Trial Mountain. It's a first for the series. kind of wondering if there'll be a second, considering, man, I mean, I guess maybe not every race would be this dominant, but shit. That was no contest for Yo Watanabe. There was just nothing. There was nothing. These two did incredibly well on maintaining their tires to go the whole race on one set, but this is still a race at the end of the day. You can be as delicate as you want. You still gotta go quick, you know?